Prince Harry's ultimate shame as he puts the Kardashians before the veterans who he claims to care most about.
While the royal family stood in solemn silence, honoring those who had given everything for their country, Meghan Markle was in Beverly Hills, posing beneath a chandelier shaped like a martini glass.
And you can see it in the paparazzi footage as Prince Harry leaves this event, is that he's not happy about it.
Yes. While King Charles bowed his head and poppies shimmered on the lapels of those who embody real duty, Meghan was out here treating Remembrance Day like a red carpet photo op. And beside her was Prince Harry, wearing his poppy pin like a party accessory, swaying to music that probably cost more than his military medals.
And I also have no sympathy, if we just come back to me here, for Ms. Markle refusing to wear one of these because she knows how to get them. This was purposeful.
This wasn't just another celebrity appearance, oh no. This was Meghan Markle's grand audition for Hollywood royalty, the sequel. A glittering, champagne-soaked moment where solemn tradition collided with spray tan and lost.
I mean, it just shows us what the Sussexes have been reduced to, unapologetically tacky. How pathetic and disappointing their priorities currently are.
The party, Kris Jenner's 70th birthday. A Bond-themed spectacle where every guest looked like a billionaire spy except one duchess, who looked like she'd stepped straight out of a Target clearance aisle trying to pass as a fashion icon.
The royal family are meant to honor the fallen on a solemn remembrance weekend in the UK, but the dumb, traitorous Prince Harry and his grinning wannabe instead chose to honor a Kardashian 5,000 miles away. No interest in duty, just tacky fame.
Online, people couldn't believe it. While the UK was drenched in respect and reflection, the Sussexes were drenched in fake tan and camera flashes. And the internet? It roasted them harder than the caterer's truffle sliders. But here's where it gets delicious, this wasn't just tone-deaf, it was strategic. Because nothing Meghan does is accidental. Every pose, every pin, every oops moment is perfectly planned. So why did Meghan and Harry turn a night of remembrance into a full-blown PR performance? Oh, you're not ready for that answer. But stay tuned, it only gets messier from here.
Well, Meghan's upset plenty of people and possibly embarrassed Prince Harry by not wearing a poppy alongside her husband at Kris Jenner's 70th birthday party.
Picture this. Beverly Hills shimmering beneath a sea of chandeliers, champagne towers stacked higher than most people's rent, and a guest list so elite it could make Buckingham Palace look like a school reunion. Kris Jenner, the self-crowned queen of American fame, was hosting her 70th birthday bash, a James Bond-themed spectacle dripping in money, ego, and enough sequins to blind a nation. Every corner of the venue screamed excess, gold leaf cocktails, diamond-studded invitations, secret entrance codes, because of course, this wasn't just a party. It was a power summit. Jeff Bezos arrived looking like Mr. Monopoly on his way to space. Kim Kardashian floated in like she personally ran MI6. And just when photographers thought they'd seen it all, in glided the Duke and Duchess of Hollywood, ****. The moment Meghan and Harry stepped through those doors, the atmosphere snapped tighter than Kris Jenner's facelift. You could practically hear the collective gasp, part shock, part secondhand embarrassment. This was supposed to be Kris's night, yet suddenly every lens swung toward the royal gate crashers. It was bold, brazen, and unmistakably calculated. Because when Meghan Markle enters a room, she's not looking for champagne, she's hunting for the spotlight. And Hollywood spotlight? It's bright, but it burns fast. While everyone else was toasting Kris, Meghan and Harry were already plotting their next headline. And trust me, the way they did it had everyone talking. They didn't just arrive, they made an entrance, like it was the Oscars and the world had been waiting for them. The doors parted, and in they came, slow enough for every flashbulb to catch the moment, confident enough to act like they'd always belonged there. Meghan glided in first, chin tilted just high enough to command attention, her black ensemble shimmering under the lights, not elegant, but loud. Harry trailed behind, the human equivalent of a +1 who'd rather be at home watching reruns of The Crown. Cameras clicked before they even reached the bar. It was almost as if someone had tipped off the paparazzi to the exact second they'd walk in. Almost like a press call. Coincidence? Please. This was a masterclass in staged spontaneity, a red carpet moment disguised as a birthday cameo, asterisk asterisk.
Extraordinary optics, given Harry claims, and remember he wrote that personal note last week saying he cares nothing more, Brittany, than the British veterans. And then on our most important day, Remembrance Sunday, he goes to a tacky party with the Kardashians. He can't even bother to procure his disrespectful wife a goddamn poppy. It's a stinky new low.
Guests turned their heads, whispering between sips of champagne. The Kardashians barely blinked. Bezos offered a polite nod. And Kris Jenner? She flashed that PR smile, the kind that says, "You're stealing my moment, but fine, just make it worth my hashtags." Every step Meghan took felt rehearsed, the gentle touch on Harry's arm, the practiced laugh, the perfectly timed pause for photographers. But beneath that polished performance was a desperation you could almost taste. They weren't there to celebrate Kris Jenner's milestone, they were there to remind Hollywood they still matter, and if the flashbulbs didn't prove it, Meghan's expression did, that unmistakable look of someone who came to conquer, not to mingle. Meanwhile, while Meghan and Harry soaked in the Beverly Hills glow 5,000 miles away, the rest of the royal family stood in the cold November silence. London streets were lined with poppies, black coats, and bowed heads, a nation remembering its fallen. The contrast was brutal, solemn duty on one continent, self-promotion on another. And when images of Meghan's grinning face hit social media beside Kate's composed profile at the cenotaph, the internet practically exploded, asterisk asterisk.
She looked so respectful and pensive. And of course, we bring you these incredible visuals of Catherine honoring the patriotic and deceased, in jarring comparison to Meghan Markle hitting up a Kardashian bash.
Commentators called it the split screen of the century. On one side, a princess wrapped in tradition and respect, on the other, a duchess wrapped in sequins and a questionable tan. The optics were a PR nightmare, or perhaps exactly what Meghan wanted. Outrage equals engagement, veterans and royal watchers blasted the timing. How could Harry, a decorated veteran, be dancing while his comrades mourn? One British tabloid asked. Even sympathetic outlets struggled to defend the choice. The symbolism was impossible to ignore, Harry wearing a remembrance poppy not in solemnity, but in a Hollywood ballroom across X, formerly Twitter, memes multiplied faster than apologies. From battlefield to buffet table, one caption read beneath Harry's party photo, but the criticism wasn't just about hypocrisy, it was about disconnection. Because that night, two very different versions of the monarchy were on display, one honoring the past, one chasing clicks. And whether they realized it or not, Meghan and Harry had just written the boldest headline of Remembrance Weekend, and not in a good way, asterisk asterisk.
It's hard to comprehend where Meghan Markle's head is when we are seeing such grace and strength and selflessness from Catherine. How she could justify throwing on her Bond gear and showing up to the Kardashians' house.
Now, let's talk about that look. Because if the event itself raised eyebrows, Meghan's outfit practically launched them into orbit. She arrived draped in a black wrap skirt that couldn't decide whether it wanted to be elegant or experimental, paired with mismatched fabrics that screamed Pinterest mood board gone rogue. But it wasn't just the outfit that had people talking. It was the tan, that unmistakable orange-tinged glow that lit up every flash like a warning beacon. Social media promptly dubbed it the Bond villain spray tan, and honestly, they weren't wrong. Then there was the poppy. Oh, the poppy. Once a symbol of sacrifice and remembrance, it had become an accidental prop pin to an outfit designed purely for attention. Critics couldn't believe the irony, a remembrance flower glittering under disco lights. That's not tribute, one user wrote. That's branding. And they weren't alone, even American outlets called the choice bizarrely tone-deaf. Harry didn't escape scrutiny either. His poppy, meant to honor fallen soldiers, looked painfully out of place next to cocktail glasses and velvet tuxedos. Like wearing a medal to a nightclub, what should have been a quiet gesture of respect turned into a PR disaster in slow motion. The internet roasted the look with surgical precision, calling it funeral chic meets Halloween tan. And while Meghan smiled through it all, one thing was clear: this wasn't a fashion statement. It was a misfire dressed as her asterisk asterisk.
meaning.
It looks like Meghan Markle married Prince Harry not for him, not to serve the British people, but to serve herself and the excess she always wanted to indulge in, the fame and the attention she always wanted to indulge in, but could never achieve on her own. Meghan Markle did not get an invite to that party. Prince Harry with Meghan Markle got an invite to that party. They're inviting him because of Harry.
Remember when Meghan and Harry said they wanted a private life? Apparently, privacy now comes with a guest list, a photographer, and designer lighting, because somehow, every time they accidentally appear somewhere, there's a full camera crew waiting like it's episode 3 of a Netflix spin-off. This Beverly Hills Bash was no exception. A supposedly intimate event that somehow produced crystal clear photos from every angle. Coincidence? Please. That's not privacy, that's PR choreography. For a couple who famously fled royal duties to escape flashbulbs, they've developed an uncanny talent for finding them. Reports suggest their team may have tipped off certain outlets just enough to ensure they'd be seen, but not caught. Classic Meghan strategy: control the narrative, then claim to be misunderstood. Harry, meanwhile, looked like a man trying to blend into the wallpaper. Every photo captured him half smiling, half regretting his life choices, while Meghan worked the room like it was her red carpet comeback. She knows the rule: no photo, no relevance. Critics were quick to call it out. They didn't escape the media, they just hired their own version of it. One journalist tweeted, "The irony is painful. They've turned the very spotlight they once condemned into currency." Because for Meghan and Harry, visibility isn't a side effect, it's the business plan. And on this night, privacy wasn't lost. It was auctioned off, one flash at a time, asterisk asterisk.
It was the worst thing that Meghan and Harry could have done. It just shows how disconnected they are from not only the public, the Remembrance Day, the people of the UK, but also from themselves, from each other. They are very disconnected from each other. She wants one thing, he wants another. And every time they step out here, him looking miserable and her looking so happy, it's very difficult. It's a hard watch.
Here's where it gets juicy. Whispers suggest Meghan might not have even been officially invited. Yep, the Duchess of Drama allegedly slipped in through the back door of Beverly Hills high society. Rumor has it her team coordinated attendance via a management connection, the kind of move that screams calculated hustle, not VIP access. Once inside, Meghan went into full campaign mode. She wasn't mingling, she was networking, gliding between tables, flashing that perfectly practiced smile, dropping names like confetti. Every conversation looked like a potential headline. Every selfie felt like an audition for relevance. Kris Jenner received a quick photo op. Kim Kardashian offered a polite wave, then silence. The Hollywood elite smiled, nodded, and moved on. Because in a room full of power players, Meghan wasn't the main character, she was the spectacle. Her energy was loud, her intent transparent. Even Harry's awkward stance in the background couldn't soften the impression. This was strategy, not spontaneity. And while Meghan played social chess, the room was already 2 moves ahead. In Hollywood, everyone wants a picture, but no one wants the PR baggage that comes with it. If Meghan and Harry expected royal treatment, Hollywood responded with a polite shrug. The A-list crowd wasn't dazzled, they were distant. Kris Jenner kept her smile fixed. Kim whispered something to a stylist, and Jeff Bezos looked more interested in his champagne bubbles than the so-called Duke and Duchess of California. The room's vibe shifted from curiosity to quiet cringe, asterisk asterisk.
Kris Jenner's post on Instagram immediately after the party. I think there are the maximum of 20 pictures in this slideshow. She made the mix, not one glimpse of the royal couple. Because the reality is that in Hollywood, they're not royalty anymore. They're on the D-list. So they may get the invite, but they're not on the Snoop Dogg or Oprah Winfrey level.
Eyewitnesses said Meghan floated from group to group, trying to anchor herself in conversations that never quite stuck. The laughter around her was polite but thin, the kind people offer when they want you to move along. Harry stood nearby, fidgeting with his drink, clearly realizing this wasn't the royal balcony crowd. No one bowed. No one fawned. They just scanned and scrolled. Hollywood's royalty doesn't kneel for crowns, it kneels for relevance. And Meghan's currency was running low. Even the paparazzi outside turned their lenses toward the Kardashians once her grand entrance faded. By the end of the night, the message was clear: in this kingdom of fame, Meghan wasn't the queen, just another guest who stayed too long in the spotlight. And for Harry, that silence spoke louder than any headline ever could. While Meghan worked the room like it was a press junket, Harry lingered in the background, the ghost of a prince at a party that didn't want him. His posture said everything his publicist wouldn't: hands in pockets, head slightly bowed, eyes darting toward the exit. He looked like a man who had wandered into the wrong movie, a thriller starring his wife and a cast of influencers. Sources say he barely spoke, offering stiff smiles and quick nods as Meghan posed and performed. Every laugh she gave was a headline in the making, every silence from him was a story untold. The former soldier, once saluted for duty and courage, now stood under disco lights that mocked them both. ***.
Interesting how Harry finds no fault in their cooperation or their cooperating with the media. But when he claims his family does the same thing, it's simply unforgivable. We have to write a book. We have to do a Netflix series about it.
Observers described him as visibly uncomfortable, like someone realizing too late that he'd traded purpose for publicity. Even the paparazzi barely bothered with solo shots of him. Their focus was fixed on Meghan's theatrics. That night, Harry wasn't the rebel prince or the runaway royal. He was just another prop in Meghan's never-ending brand campaign, a man caught between the weight of a crown and the emptiness of clout. And deep down, you could tell he knew it, and just like that, the night ended. The lights dimmed, the champagne lost its sparkle, and Meghan and Harry slipped out of Kris Jenner's glittering fantasy with more headlines than handshakes. What was meant to be a glamorous comeback had turned into a masterclass in misplaced ambition. While the royals honored sacrifice back in London, the Sussexes had turned remembrance into reality TV. The message couldn't have been clearer: you can trade palaces for parties, but dignity doesn't come with an RSVP. Hollywood saw through the act. The smiles were polite, but the silence was deafening. Meghan wanted to be the star of the show. Instead, she became the punchline everyone whispered about as the night wound down. Harry? Just another shadow fading behind the glare of someone else's spotlight. ***.
Harry and Meghan's titles should be pulled ASAP, and their place in the line of succession should be immediately revoked, because they're not demonstrating the qualities of royalty that they should be. They're expressing basically the excesses of Hollywood, the indulgence of uber wealth. And Harry and Meghan don't even have that.
But this story isn't over, because the real twist in Meghan's social climb comes from someone very close to her. Someone whose truth flips the entire narrative upside down. Before you go, check out my previous expose right here on Star Spotlight, where we dive into the insider who finally spoke out and revealed everything about Meghan's inner circle. Trust me, you'll want to see that one before the next royal storm hits. ***.